Welcome everyone to one more amazing session with Professor Dr. Sharma Garu. Sharma Garu is from Bangalore, and he is a very experienced physician who has served as faculty in many prestigious universities across India and abroad also. And we are very lucky to have him here. A few universities where he has served are JSS Medical University, Manipal Hospitals, Whitefield. He's a consultant physician in Bangalore, Manipal Hospitals. And he's also a professor for online programs at Texila American University, a visiting professor at Great Eastern Medical College, Andhra Pradesh, adjunct professor at Tamil Nadu MGR Medical University, Chennai, and emeritus professor at Rajiv Gandhi Institute of Medical Sciences. So he has taken a lot of time for us out last week also. We had an amazing session and we got excellent feedback. So we requested sir to come back again so that you get more insights into taking care of your near and dear ones as well as the people you're taking care of. And you'll also get a wonderful opportunity to have directly get your questions answered from such an experienced doctor. So we are glad to have you, sir. You can please start the session.
Vamshi Garu, thank you very much. Art of Living organizers. It's nice that you are bringing out the episodes of transmitting the knowledge and empowering the people. And all of us should understand that empowerment is the only way we can win the battle, because once you know what has to be done, you will be tuned to the right path of action. And that way, you will be ready to face the challenge. This is a very challenging situation. Most of you would have heard that your near and dear ones or your family itself or you yourself are affected already. Today, the focus is not on, what sort of oxygen will be given and where they will be admitted, what are the helpline numbers, or what about vaccination, or how it is transmitted and what is this virus, and all that I am not going to tell. The practical implication of somebody becoming symptomatic in your own home or somebody getting tested positive. This is a real thing, either two will be just praying God, let the corona not visit. But let us say it has visited a home and there are one or two persons who are symptomatic, and the others are should not be in panic and try to help and take care of the family and get through it. As I told you earlier, 85% of the times it is a simple disease which will go away provided you take all the care that is required. So today's session will be on home care, home isolation, what we have to do, what are the supportive measures, and what is the treatment that we need to institute at home, and watch, and how to monitor, when to see that there is a serious disease and the disease is moving from mild to moderate, and when to run for help, and what you have to do. And also a little bit about those who have recovered after 15 days, what sort of maintenance you have to take. These are the objectives of today's session. Let me go forward. Okay. As I told you, this presentation, COVID-19, home isolation and care to allay fear and prepare everyone for action. Fear is the greatest enemy because 50% or 60% of the disease is in the mind and the rest only is outside. And I know we are hearing so many calamities, fatalities, worsenings, and then getting affected. It is but natural to have a tendency to be afraid. But fear is no answer. Preparedness and action is the answer. All the same, keep faith in three things. One, in yourself first that you will recover. Two, in the treating physician and the team of people who are helping you in home and outside with supplies, food, medicine, support, counseling, prayer, and all that. And thirdly, of course, Daiva Bala, or the Almighty's will. But don't depend alone on Almighty will and then pray, Almighty, if I am having the life, you will save me. Otherwise, you take me. That is not the answer. So you have to be first doing what is expected of us. Then God will, of course, come. A hidden force is always there. It will help us. Without we trying, take it for granted, we will not be helped. Neither by human beings nor by God. I am reachable at this number. All of you please note down 93805, and then this is available. Just WhatsApp. Don't try to call. And all these talks are available on that website. And in the previous slide, you would have noted that there is a link for COVID education. There are 11 videos on health education and COVID, and this is one more video which will be added tomorrow. So all these are available at that link. And this presentation I'm going to share with the Arts of Living organization, and they will pass on to you the PDF it where you can copy the link. And this link can be copied into the chat box also at the end of the presentation. So let's start off. This slide we have seen earlier. So day 0 is we never had any symptom, and then the first symptom started appearing. That is the day 0, and then until 7 days after the first symptom, this period is highly infectious. During that period, the virus excretion is at the maximum. So if somebody is having symptoms, means the virus is already there. Doesn't have to wait for the test report to be positive and confirm that there is virus is there. The very fact that the symptoms are there, it is an indication that it is positive. It is called probable case. Such a case is called a probable case. And once you have the confirmation, it is called a confirmed case. During the period of first 7 days, highly infectious. And next comes the period of the next week or up to 14 days, it is still infectious. And later on, the infection dies around 14 days. So they're relatively safe. Someone to come back into the home after the 14th day. And in rare cases, up to 21 days, the virus may be excreted. This is important for you to know when the patient is infectious, when you have to be careful, when they can be welcomed back to join the rest of the family. Now, what are the symptoms? What are the presentations of the disease? No symptoms, no virus, no contact, very healthy. That is where you have to be and maintain that state forever throughout the pandemic. Then what happens? Asymptomatic illness. You don't have any fever or any symptom of COVID, but your test is positive and you have a contact history. That is called the asymptomatic illness. Then the third one is the pre-symptomatic, means you have cough, fever, cold, smell, and all that problem. And then the report is not done or you have not given the test. That is called pre-symptomatic, also called the probable case. Then mild ILI-like illness, that is influenza-like illness, like a common influenza. It will appear like a nose cold and then blocking of the nose, throat and irritation, fever, body pains, and that is a very mild illness. And understand that 85% of the people will go into this phase and come back to normal. So there's no need to be panicky hearing a news that somebody is on ventilator and somebody had a fatal outcome. If you take care from the beginning, most of our patients, almost 99.5% of the patients, have recovered by home management alone. Just follow what is told here. Then when the ILI becomes moderate disease, the pneumonia, it is called COVID pneumonia, lungs are affected. That is the stage we require help. You may require hospitalization. You may require injection treatment. Faithfully and very quickly, swiftly act and move to the hospital and save yourself. Because COVID pneumonia, in 5% of the people, 15% will go into this. Out of that 5% end up in fatality. That means 85 mild illness, 10 pneumonia and come back home, 5 will meet with the eventuality. Okay, severe illness and complications are rare and they are not the common things. Neither we are going to discuss about how people are dying, and rather than how to save the people should be the emphasis. And dangerously ill means sudden, precipitously. Morning they are all right, afternoon the oxygen levels have come down and such, very difficult. That is a cytokine storm and one has to be very wary of that. So what is the message of this slide? First 7 days after the start of first symptom, highly infectious. next 7 days are also infectious. Do not mix with them until 14 days. That is message number one. What is message number two? Asymptomatic illness can occur and only test is positive. Presumptive illness, test is not done, but the symptoms are there. And ILI, mild illness, is the number four, 85%. Don't let it go into the pneumonia. If it by chance, by providence, it becomes pneumonia, immediately take steps, majority of them, and recover and come back home. Okay. Now, what are the symptoms? You all are familiar, but again, it is worth repeating any number of times. Not very much a sputum comes, it is dry cough, and then fever up to 100, 101 is okay. But continuously fever more than 101 is not correct, and that is an alarm sign. There will be nose cold and nose block and all that. And then sore throat, itching of the sore throat, not the throat, and then also you will have throat pain, difficulty in swallowing and all that. Most importantly, this is the sine qua non or the important symptom, loss of smell. How do I test it? With little coffee powder or agarbatti or an amrutanjan or any such thing. Just keep it near your nose. You know the smell is going down, which is almost like test RT-PCR, as sensitive and as specific as RT-PCR. Then some people present with loose motions and extreme weakness also is very common. So these are the milder symptoms, and don't worry too much about I had yesterday nose block, today I had throat pain. All these are part of the story. But watch out for breathlessness, extreme weakness and exhaustion, change in the consciousness, altered sensorium, not able to properly answer, comprehend, things like that. So you can see in the head, it is headache, congestion and runny nose, and new loss of smell or taste, cough and sore throat here in the upper passages. This is all, ILI or milder illness, then shortness of breath and difficulty in breathing, COVID pneumonia. Some people present with intestinal symptoms like vomiting and diarrhea, fatigue and muscle aches and fever are milder symptoms. But if the fever continues for more than 5/5 day, and also it is more than 101, beware that you are in for moderate disease. Okay. Now, the cases can be of three types. One is a person in the family had met with another COVID positive individual, or he has gone to a function where COVID people were there. That is contact, yes. Did he have any other symptoms in the previous slide? No. Did he do any test? Not done or done and negative. Such a case is called a suspect case. Means what? A person may develop COVID in the next few days. So you have to be very careful and put them under quarantine. Means they are not diseased, not symptomatic, no evidence of virus yet, but there is a suspicion. Then we use the word quarantine and then keep them for 14 days under observation and also put them for test. The moment test is positive, they become definitive. Or the test may be negative, but they become symptomatic, and that becomes a probable case. So you understood what is the suspect case. Contact history positive, no symptoms, no test done, or test is negative. The answer is quarantine and then test. No treatment as yet. Just they are normal people only. Only thing is contact was there that might result in COVID. Then comes a person who has got a contact history positive. There are already symptoms which we listed in the previous slide. RT-PCR test or the rapid test done or not done or negative. And then these people also are quarantined separately and then test and start treatment. Why treatment? Because they already have symptoms. Because they are symptomatic, they should be treated like a definitive case and then of course investigated. Whereas here we are not giving treatment. Here we are giving treatment. What treatment? You will come to know. Then you have a definitive case. Means yes, contact positive, his symptoms are there, test is positive, any one of the three, either the RT-PCR or the rapid test or the CT scan is positive, and this person deserves isolation. What is isolation? In detail we will go through. And what is the treatment? Same as the probable case. Treatment and isolation are the watchwords for definitive case and not bring in secondary cases in the family. Please understand. First of all, are you a totally healthy person, no contact, no symptoms? Fine. Or is there a contact and there is a suspected case, quarantine and test? Probable case, contact there, symptoms are there, test not done or test negative, quarantine and test and treat. Definitive case, contact is there, symptoms are there, test is positive, confirmed cases, mild illness, isolate and treat. Okay, this last time also I showed you, but I spent a little more time on this because I wanted to focus on these symptoms and you understand that these are the various types of patterns that you see in your home once the corona has entered the house. Okay, now let us see what test I do. There are two ways of going about it. Straight away you do an RT-PCR, which takes 24 to 48 hours and then get the result as yes or no. Till that time you be as a probable case. Or if the facilities are available, this is the Government of India protocol. This is not manufactured by me. Whatever I am talking is from the Government of India Ministry of Health guidelines formulated by all the experts of the country and also the international guidelines. Nothing is outside the the so-called vetted and top-level evidence. Okay, RAT, rapid antigen test, also called the simple card test, and this is to empower the public because no prescription is not necessary. Here, you can ask the person and do a rapid test, and then it can turn out positive or it can turn out negative. It will be card like that will be there, and there is one line means negative, two lines are there. Thicker line and this is the control line and this is the test line. Two lines are there on the card, it means it is positive. Once it is positive, no need to do. Government of India says, don't go for RT-PCR. This is good enough evidence. Go ahead that you are a positive and then start treatment as a positive. Supposing it is negative, then totally asymptomatic, no symptoms at all, declare as negative for the time being, but follow them and under quarantine. The moment they develop symptoms, do an RT-PCR. Suppose they already have symptoms like fever, cough, sore throat, send a sample for RT-PCR. You understand? Do a rapid test positive, no need of RT-PCR. Today, Government of India has changed the directive and given that no hospital should insist on the RT-PCR report or the sputum report for admission. Earlier it was mandatory till yesterday night. Today they have realized that testing itself is taking 2-3 days time and people are losing time to get admitted for want of a test report, and that hurdle has been removed. We don't require a RT-PCR positive to enter the hospital, provided there are other qualifications like oxygen deep or the X-ray, CT evidence or biomarkers or whatever. Okay, but then you do a rapid test. If it is positive, then no need for RT-PCR. If it is negative, is the person totally normal, asymptomatic, declare for the moment negative, quarantine them and do appropriate behavior. If the person has symptoms, fever, cough, sore throat, rat test negative, means there is a high probability of the disease, patient is treated as a probable case and RT-PCR is done. That way, you can reduce the load on the RT-PCR. This is the today's recommendation. And for admission, these tests are not mandatory. But it is important for us to know whether we really have common cold or COVID. For that reason, we require to do the test. Okay, what if the test is positive? Either RAT or the RT-PCR bigger test, which takes time. Either one of them is positive. The first question is, can they be treated in the home? Eligibility for home isolation. Why this is important? Because home is the best place to recover. Least crowding, personal attention, you are comfortable mentally and physically, and somebody is there to attend to you and take care of your caregiver with all the precautions. Home is the best place to recover. And believe me, 85 to 90% of people will come out happily with recovery from in the home itself. Who will decide? The doctor or the healthcare worker will decide whether you're eligible for that, and preference should be given for home isolation. Is there any other disease like diabetes, BP, or advanced age? And what is the oxygen saturation? Is there breathlessness? Is there worsening? In such a case, we abandon the home and go for the hospital. Okay, in the home there could be two types of people, people who are tested positive but not symptomatic. That means they are called the asymptomatic illness. Or tested positive and they had mild symptoms of ILI, they are called the mild ILI. The third group of people are tested negative but they have symptoms and they are called these are the probable cases. These also are suitable for home isolation. Suppose there is only one room in the house. Majority of us are blessed to have a couple of rooms. Many of the Indians, they live in only one room tenement and there is no one to take care. Let us say there is a 4-roomed house, but they are alone living. Then home isolation is not possible. And then they are moved to a center called the COVID Care Center. Don't believe that COVID care centers do a bad job. I have excellent experience with people who are admitted to COVID care center and they are doing a very good service. Admitting to COVID care center, you will be monitored with a group of people and oxygen also will be available for a short while. In case there is a need for oxygen, they will shift you to DCHC from the admission. Or home also, if it is worsening, we shift them to dedicated COVID healthcare center. Dedicated COVID healthcare center. These are designated hospitals, both government and private. Where do I get admission? Where do I get bed? This is a common chasing. Host of support numbers are there in every city. Try all possible numbers. I am sure you will find a bed. It's not difficult provided you make an attempt. Bed will not come to you running. Okay, I am here, you come and get admitted. You have to make all the effort to go and get admitted into the bed. Bed will not chase you. We have to chase the bed. And then when do I admit? When mild illness or asymptomatic illness suddenly turning into moderate COVID, we require hospitalization. A sugar in case you are a diabetic, and then an IR thermometer non-contact. If you can afford, you or your community can have oxygen concentrator. This is not like a cylinder. This takes up the oxygen from the room and the air from the room, removes the nitrogen, makes 95% oxygen and then gives it to the patient. Up to 5 to 10 liters per minute can be delivered. These are very handy. They're comparatively little expensive and short supply also. But if you can afford, or if your community can afford, have an oxygen concentrator, 1 or 2 in your community. It will become very handy before you enter a hospital. Okay, I am going to go through one by one. I told you there is a presumptive or a confirmed case. What is a presumptive case? He has symptoms, he has contact, test is not yet done or negative. What is a confirmed case? He has contact, he has classical symptoms, and there is a test positive, either RAT or RT-PCR or a CT scan. What do I do? Home isolation in a separate room. మా వారు నేను కూడా ఒక చోటే ఉంటామండి, మా తమ్ముడు నేను వేరుగా ఉండలేమండి. We cannot say no. This is not the time to hug to your brother or spouse or someone. They have to be in separate room because it is highly contagious and you give it to the other person. The person who is affected, either presumptive or confirmed, must be isolated in a separate room. Start on home care guidelines and treatment, which will follow in the next slide. The person affected must wear N95 mask. The other day I showed you what is N95 mask, and use all disposables, and they should not be touched by others. The caregiver must wear a medical mask on top of that, a cloth mask, or even if possible, an N95 mask for protection. Who is the caregiver? The brother, sister, wife, father, mother, whoever is attending on the patient for the needs of giving food or supplies or whatever it is. Just try to be at that 3 meters away, use N95 mask, attend to them, don't touch them or mix with them, or do not touch any of the objects which patient is using. Like muddy, we say in the olden days, or the woman used to be for 3 days out of doors and no one touches, something like that you imagine. Monitor symptoms 3 times a day. Okay, how frequently? Preferably, I prefer 4 times. 3 times is the government recommendation, no problem. Watch for what? Fever. What is the height of fever? Any breathlessness, any SpO. Trace if the patient has any contact with COVID patient and inform all your contacts that you are having symptoms of COVID so that they will also be guarded and take a test. This presentation will be with you and all of you either keep in front of you and see if you are a presumptive case or a confirmed case, what should be your behavior. This should be done to cha. And you should not miss very scrupulously. This is the only way you can win the battle. There's no way you can come out. No amount of prayer will work unless we put our best foot forward. And then, of course, prayer is there. All contacts and family members of a test positive, suppose there are 5 people, one is presumptive or test positive, they must be quarantined and they must also be tested. Majority of us forget to do that. మా ఫాదర్కి కోవిడ్ అటాక్ అయిందండి కానీ మేము ఇంకా టెస్ట్ చేయించుకోలేదండి. వాట్ ఈస్ దట్? వాట్ ఫర్ ఆర్ యూ వెయిటింగ్? When your father is positive, where is the guarantee that you are not positive? Why don't you find out and start the treatment right away? Okay, that should be. Then remember these 4. 1, if it is presumptive case or a confirmed case, isolation separately. Patient will wear N5 mask. All general measures listed next will be instituted. All medicines prescribed here will be started. So you have to do that. Isolation, N95, general measures and medicine. Then what are the general measures? Now I am going to give you the care. I told you what to do. I know how to isolate, whom to isolate. Now what are the general measures? Plain water steam inhalation. అందులో పసుపు వేస్తామండి, ఇంగు వేస్తామండి, మరొకటి ఏదో వేస్తామండి, బ్రీత్ ఈజీ వేస్తామండి, కార్వలు ఏమీ వద్దు. There are highly irritants. Just plain water, RO water, you boil and take steam inhalation. How frequently? 3 times. How long? 10 minutes each time. Not short of that. Not just putting your nose 1 minute or half a minute and removing. That will not work. Steam percolates into the respiratory passages and makes the phlegm very liquid and very easy to come out. When the used up and waste phlegm comes out, new mucus will form, which is a protection against the virus. If the new mucus is not forming and the old phlegm is stagnating there, the virus continues to multiply. So steam inhalation is essential. Then throat gargling, no special medicines are required. Just put enough salt to gargle in warm, lukewarm water and gargle thrice a day. How much time a gargle? 5 minutes. Faithfully 5 minutes. Put a timer. 5 minutes. You keep on changing the water. Each gulp you take, 1 minute, throw it off, spit it out, and then like that. And then wash the wash basin which you have used to gargle. Plenty of oral fluids up to a maximum of 2.5 to 3 liters unless the patient is having special fluid restriction. Never go out because you are already a patient, presumptive or confirmed case. Do not contact anyone. No watch person to come. Because they're also human beings and they will get the disease from you. And all spouse, parent, children must be tested and watch for all the COVID symptoms, particularly the serious symptoms. So these are the general care guidelines and general measures. Okay, what is the crux of the story? Yes, yes. What is SMS? You will see now. S is sanitization, M is mask, S is social distance. Do not forget SMS. SMS is the watchword. Either with COVID or without COVID for some time to come, all of us must use SMS. There is no escape from that. I am vaccinated, I can remove mask. Don't go and read something in the news. No. All vaccinated people can remove. No, not possible. At least for the next few months to come, SMS will stay with us. Now, How to use an oximeter. This is another thing which I have showed you earlier. This is how the oximeter looks like. The oximeter is a small device like this, and then you put it on and then plug it onto your middle finger or the this one, and then keep it at the level of your heart. Okay. Then after a minute or so, it stabilizes and gives you a reading. Okay. Once it is stabilizing, then you can see the reading and you can see it is now showing 98 and 86. So like that, the readings will be displayed on that, and those readings you copy and then put a chart. So what do I do? Remove any nail polish and clean the nails. Rest for at least 5 minutes before taking this one. Rest your hand on the chest at the heart level like this, and then switch on the oximeter and place it on the middle or the index finger. Don't use this little finger or this finger. So this is not for babies. You can use the toe or the great toe you can use. For young adults, you have to use either the pointing finger or the middle finger of either hand. And if one hand is showing, less, you change the hand and see whichever is the highest, you take it. Reading takes a steady time and wait for that. Record the highest result of the readings that you made in the 3-4 minutes. Identify each carefully in a table and label it. This is 6 a.m., this is 12 p.m., like that. Start recording the baseline, and every 3 times or 4 times a day you do. And call if the oxygen saturation is below 94%. Okay, that is the thing that you have to think. This is about the oximetry. Now, another important thing all of us don't do is whenever we are sick, we lay down flat like this, like, Gatotkacha. That is no good. Because when you lie down like that, the lower part of the lungs are compressed by the weight of the heart and the diaphragm, as you see here, and they are not well aerated. So you will not have proper ventilation when you are on your back. This is the front side and this is the back. But when you are upside down and sleep like this, borla padkodu antaru, then the weight of the organs is removed and lungs are well aerated. Normally, if you have the lungs here, only half of the lung is open for us. 50% only is aerated with the amount of shallow breaths we take. Whenever you sit idle or whenever you are doing something, every 10 minutes, take 5 or 6 deep breaths like that. This should be a habit. That way you will allow the air to enter the lower parts. And this prone ventilation, this is supine, 85. Once you are prone, 95. Supposing you are between 95 and 85 fluctuating, prone yourself for more number of times before the oxygen arrives or before you go to the hospital. That will help you. This has been taught several times, but unfortunately people don't practice. Whatever is taught is heard and left there. I urge all of you to make it a habit, even normally also. Don't lay flat. Lay on left side or right side or prone. How much time? If you are sleeping 6 hours, 2 hours prone, another 1 hour sideways, maybe 3 hours you can lay down flat if you are not comfortable. But preference should be sideways and the prone. If you are not, somebody is pregnant or immediately after meal, don't prone. Okay, these are the only thing. Now, the importance of proning I have shown you here. Okay, I will remove this. Okay. So this is, I am going to circulate this brochure also for you. And then that brochure will give you how to keep. And while proning, you have to keep pillows under the chest, a pillow under the lower part of the leg, and also a pillow under the neck. And hand should be on the side. And I will circulate the Government of India brochure on the advantages of proning. Okay. How to set up a small isolation room in your area, in your house. Keep Dolo in that, Limsi, Ginkgo, Tetra Paks, blood sugar meter, oximeter, if preferably oxygen concentrator, thermometer, BP monitor, gloves, a couple of PPE kits, hand sanitizer, liquid soap, masks, tissue paper, disposable covered bin. So these are all the important things to keep a room. Now itself, you make one room in the house to be a probable isolation room in case somebody falls sick. Don't then try and wait where is thermometer, searching all that should not work. You should be prepared. For a marriage, are you not prepared? If there is a marriage in 3 days, are you not keeping things all in an order in one room? Same thing you do. This is a very important life marriage. Understand that. Breathing exercise is a must for all. What is breathing exercise? I'll just demonstrate quickly. You just follow that. Sit erect like this, like a king or a queen or a prince. And then rest your hands on your thighs and then breathe in deeply. Seven to eight counts you hold. How many times? At least like that, each minute around 7 to 8 times, 10 times, like that, 5 minutes, 50 breathing, 3-4 times a day, around 200 breaths if you do, the lower part get used to it. There's another small device which all of you can buy. This is called a spirometer. In this there is a tube here. Okay, this tube you keep and then you do a little bit breathing exercise, exhale completely and then start pulling air from it. Suck the air from here. What did I do? I kept the mouthpiece in the mouth and then powerfully suck. There are 3 balls there as you can see. At least 2 balls have to go up. That means your reserve capacity is around 1 liter. If somebody can pull in 1.2 liters, the third ball also, it's very good. But it with practice, when you are at rest, not talking like this, you okay, what do? I just take the tube here and then after 5 minutes rest, like that you keep doing. How many times? At least 10 times in the morning, 10 times in the afternoon, 10 times in the night. This will help to improve the lung function. Prone position will also improve the lung function. Okay. Normally lower lung and back parts are not aerated. We need to regularly do breathing exercises to prevent COVID and also while you are having symptoms. But for symptoms, they should be used exclusively by the patient and nobody else should share that equipment. And it should be washed thoroughly with soap water. So I told you that no more video is required. I showed you that. So home guidelines for mild cases, what to use, what medicines. We have seen what are the general measures, what are the isolations, what is the breathing exercise, what is the classification. This is vitamin C. Any vitamin C, Lim C, Suck C, Chew C, YC, 500 milligrams twice a day. It is a non-prescription drug, it is a vitamin. It improves cell turnover and allows the virus and body to resist the virus. B complex with zinc. Z stands for zinc. If not individual combined available, you can buy separately. Bico zinc, Bicoscules Z, Ginkgovit. These are other names. Ginkgovit. Bico zinc. Whatever may be B complex with zinc. How many? Only 1 a day. Not more. Don't take 5 B complex. It's not going to help you because it gets in the urine, that's all. And Dolo is the only antipyretic for fever. How many times? 1, 2, 3, and sometimes even 4. How many? 3 days. So buy around 15 and keep. This is also for 15 days. 30 tablets you require. This 15 tablets. This is 15 is good enough. And then if you have congestion of the chest and troubling cough, then you need to help the mucus to easily come out and the air tubes to become bigger. How do I do that? Not by steam inhalation alone and breathing exercises. I have to support by Loopyhaler, Rivolizer, Rotahaler. Small plastic device will be there, and in that you keep these capsules and inhale. Budamate, Budacart, 400 milligrams twice a day. And throat gargling thoroughly for 5 minutes after the Budamate, because this Budamate powder deposits in the throat. It can brood unnecessary throat pain and fever. So better immediately wash that and use mucolite liquid which liquefies the sputum and brings it out. So what are the things you need to keep? Supply of for one individual. If necessary, you can buy. Don't hold the drug. Vitamin C 500 milligrams twice a day. B complex with JED, standard brand because you use Ginkgo once a day. Dolo 2, 3 or 4 times depending on the fever. Loopyhaver, Rivolizer or Rotahaler to be used. In case chest is congested, cough is troubling. What is the capsule I use? Budamate. How frequently? Twice a day. What do I do? Gargle the throat 5 minutes after the Budamate. And mucolite is the cough mixture. Don't suppress the cough with Benadryl and other things like that. If you suppress the cough, the pneumonia will come. You have to use expectorant, that means which brings out the sputum. Mucolite, Ambrodil, these are the expectorants. Another name I am writing, Ambrodil, may be available in your place. So these are the medicines you need to use. Now, home care guidelines, mild case, how to monitor. I'm telling you that you have to see that the patient doesn't go into the moderate disease with all the treatment. And thanks for heavens, if it happens, if he stays in the moderate disease, he or she recovers very happy. Supposing if I'm not monitoring, I never know whether the disease has moved into the moderate grade and I fail to take immediate action. What do I monitor? SpO2 with oximeter. I have already showed you the oximeter. This is the oximeter. And if it is less than 94, consistently. One reading that 93, others are 94, okay. Consistently over 2-3 readings, if it is less than 94, you have an alarm. These are called the alarm signs. Respiratory rate. How do I count? Keep your hand on the upper abdomen or lower chest. I'm just moving the video that way. And then each time I move my hand, take a breath, my hand moves up. The number of times it happens like that in a minute is counted, and that is the respiratory rate. Temperature, use a digital thermometer or an analog thermometer or an IR thermometer. Breathlessness, that is, inability to talk, walk, and altered sensorium. These are the 5 important things. SpO2 with oximeter, respiratory rate, temperature, breathlessness, altered sensorium. How frequently? Every 6 hours. Keep a record. I will circulate one document by Government of India where a table is given to fill up the record. How frequent? Early recognition for higher care is crucial. Who deserves higher care? We have to identify very early. That is crucial to avoid worsening and very rare fatal outcomes. What are the alarm features? SpO2 less than 94, respiratory rate more than 24, temperature consistently 101 or more, breathlessness and mild exertion, like walk, I must talk a few words, breathlessness. Walk a few steps in the house, breathlessness. Read a paragraph from newspaper or any book, breathless. These are indications. So what do I monitor? SpO2, respiratory rate, temperature, breathlessness. How frequently? Every 6 hours. When do I get alarmed? What are alarm signs that the disease is worsening in the patient? SpO2 less than 94 consistently. Respiratory rate more than 24. Normally respiratory rate is 15, 16, 18 like that. If it is more than 24, the temperature is more than 101 degrees, of course Fahrenheit continuously. Breathlessness on mild exertion, not able to continuously talk, walk or read for 2-3 minutes is a sign of impending danger. Once you see the alarm features, you should not neglect. Many people ended up in severe disease and fatality because they failed to recognize the change from mild to moderate or they did not heed to the advice and keep themselves thinking that they will recover with so many other maneuvers they are doing. I'm sorry, that should not be the way you should do it. Sometimes it will be a heavy price that we will pay if we do that way. Okay. Now, mild cases, they come back, they return, they recover, and or they are admitted in the hospital and come back and they maintain. How do they maintain? Again, Limsy, Bakersfield, Dolo if necessary, plenty of fluids, vegetables, fruits, and all fruits are allowed. Don't say I'm diabetic. Diabetes takes a second stage now. Once this is cured, then diabetes can be tackled. Rest and breathing exercises. I told you how to do the pranayama, that is the inhalation, breath holding, exhalation, and also using the respirometer. The other thing is take a balloon and start blowing the balloon, bigger balloon, and then frequently, that's a good breathing exercise. And room walking, monitoring temperature, pulse, SpO2, even in the maintenance phase. Because some people, even after coming back into the maintenance stage, mild case in the third week or late second week, they worsen. To pick up them, we require these measures. Home care guidelines for moderate disease. Somebody is in moderate disease, they did not get a bed or they don't want to go. What can be done? Give the first three same, add Eliquis 5 milligrams daily, Medrol 8 milligrams 3 times after food, Nexpro 40 milligrams before food, twice a day for 5 days. This is for people who are too old, they cannot be removed to the hospital, or they have other restraints, not able to go, nobody is there to take, or they are financially constrained, or they try and they don't get any bed. In such a situation, don't leave them. Put them on this sort of intense treatment with these drugs. The chances of recovery are higher. Try get some home oxygenator or home oxygen cylinder, an oxygen mask. Give about 2 to 3 liters. But this is not the first option. The first option is to have an admission. Why? In admission, they give all these medicines through the vein and recovery is faster. If I am not able to go for any reason, whatever may be the reason, social, financial, spiritual, apathy, or lack of health, maybe not all people will have the same vigor to get admitted and they are lucky to get a bed. In such a scenario, use these Eliquis. What is this? This is a blood thinner because COVID is a disease which thickens the blood and blood clots are formed, and that has to be watered. And this is the anti-inflammatory. COVID is immune inflammation. The whole blood vessels, body is burning. This is the fire extinguisher for that burning. And this is to keep your stomach healthy with these 2 tablets going. Okay, oxygen mask. Then guidelines for moderate disease, maintenance. After once they have recovered from the moderate disease, they have come to the third week, same treatment is continued. Instead of Felix 5 milligrams, I have to reduce to 2.5. Instead of 8 milligrams 3 times, I am giving 4 milligrams 2 times and then reduce to 4 milligrams once. And of course, Nexpro will continue. Monitoring will continue. How long? Until 28 days. So by the end of that, the whole story 25 to 28 days, generally no more treatment will be required. Then what will happen if I am admitted? It's a little understanding, but don't try to purchase and hold these drugs. These have to be given by vein under medical supervision. Don't try to do something non-medical things at non-medical people at home and get into problem. What they give? They give the person very powerful steroid for 3 to 5 days, and they give the blood thinner also by injection and remdesivir. This is not a magic bullet. Remember that, but it is part of the armamentarium. Okay, there will be oxygen mask, non-rebreather mask, non-invasive ventilation, high flow oxygen, and finally the severe cases will get to ventilator, not moderate cases. Don't think if I go to hospital, they'll put a tube. No. Only for the severe, there are no ventilators, enough ventilators, even for the severe cases. Who will put ventilator for a moderate case? They won't. They will not be able to. So they will treat you with an oxygen mask, non-rebreather mask, another higher type of then non-invasive ventilation, high flow oxygen, hyperbaric oxygen, and finally ventilation, not immediately. Monitoring will be done and inflammatory markers have to be done. HRCT also, the chest scan will be done. Diabetes control will be done with insulin and other supportive measures. These are the guidelines for moderate case in the hospital. But I just gave you an idea what will be done, but don't try to buy and purchase and hold. This cannot be purchased outside unless you are admitted. Remdesivir is not available. Government made it that only through the hospital channel. You can get remdesivir. You cannot get and infuse at home. Don't try that. Some of the drugs are quite dangerous without proper monitoring. Giving at home may end up in fatality. For that reason, we urge you to get admitted once the disease is in the moderate category. Now, frequent question, what are the blood tests I need to do? There are a host of tests required. There is a comprehensive list called the initial list. Your doctor will prescribe. Don't go and order yourself. Either on my guidance or with a physician guidance only, these should be ordered. These are not like blood test and cholesterol test. Okay, these are the various tests. 14 tests are listed here, plus your HRC. This is the comprehensive. Who deserves it? Not the mild case, not the person who is recovering in the mild case. Don't waste the resources. Labs have no time to do for everyone. Not required. HRCT not required for mild illness. Please understand, mild illness doesn't require anything other than what we have already done. Only when the disease is going on to the moderate, then we order for the markers. Some of them will come on the same day, some will take a couple of days. Inform the doctor faithfully. Don't forget to inform the results. Giving the test is no use. Informing the doctor the report is important. HRCT only in the moderate case and if the symptoms persist. How many times? Don't do the time and again. HRTC once done, very rarely a second HRTC will be useful. And this will be graded as mild HRTC disease, moderate disease, and severe disease. 8 by 25, 8 less than 8, 8 to 16 by 25, more than 16 by 25 is the grading that the doctors will decide and put you on appropriate treatment. Now, what is a concise panel? Supposing I'm not able to do all these tests financially, I'm not having the resources or my labs are not available. At least these 8 you do. This is a concise follow-up and this can also be helpful. But if you have the full panel, it is good. Otherwise, concise panel also is okay. How to cope with it? With the hope, indoor activities and play, relaxation and breathing exercise, yoga and meditation, aerobics, prayer. Don't forget that. This is the most, this, forget about the help from the Almighty that will anyway come whether you pray or not. But the prayer is the one which gives a mental equilibrium. Meditate, pray, do creative activities. My teacher who recovered recently, during his 14 days after the first 5 days, he started writing poetry and he shared with us how wonderful it is to see a person doing creative work during at a time when he is worried about. He is not worried when he is having a disease in him. Positive thinking, that's what I'm telling. Instillation of hope in others. Tell everyone who is affected that they're going to recover. And a word of appreciation to the people who are attending on you, the family members, the doctors, the nurses, the lab people. Thank them enough. This is the occasion to express your thanks. And then that way they are motivated to work hard. Read good material. Listen to soft music, whichever you like, and old cinema music or Annamathyari or whatever you like. Online learning courses are there. You attend those things. COVID, non-COVID cases. These are the multiple ways of coping with the pandemic. Home is the safest. Can be productive from home. Equity for all before COVID. No Raja, no Bhata, no woman, no man, no this religion, that religion. Everybody is affected. We can live without our luxuries. Avoid wasteful travel. Taught us civilized behavior. We have less pollution and disease once we behave properly. The 7 sacred steps of COVID. If you don't catch me, I will not catch you. So don't invite, go and chase the COVID to come in. How do I do that? By SMS. So if you fail to do that, you are chasing Corona, and COVID will come. Test, trace, and treat. This should be the mantra of Prime Minister Modi ji. Test, trace, and treat, and empower. That is telling these sort of messages, telling you what is mild disease, what are the things to be done at home, and what is moderate disease, what are the monitoring things, what food you have to eat, what breathing exercise you have to do. All this is empowering. Empowering is not to confuse you. Don't get, it is 94, 96, 98 lakh. Anything above 94 is normal. Don't get confused about the numbers. Inform your healthcare provider if they are going down below the alarm levels. Okay, no visitor, no visiting. This is the mantra for Corona visiting us. Today, no door is open. Our main door is locked, and whatever supplier is coming, he will leave outside, wash them properly, and get them. Don't visit and gift COVID, or don't allow visitor and get COVID. Recovery is the rule. Remember, serious disease is an exception. Panic and fear are not prudent. By fear, we reduce our immunity. By humor, by being cheerful, we increase our immunity. Avoid negative behavior, chat news, WhatsApp messages, fatal messages, dangerous messages. Sometimes, some people will tell, Corona is not at all a disease. It is not organism. It is not a virus. Don't worry. It is all because of your fear. People are creating Krutrima. All these are artificial. People will shout from the top of the roof in platforms. Don't heed to such unworthy, antisocial sort of messages. Condemn them outright and don't forward such messages. I told you because it is happening here in the society, but unwanted people who are not knowledgeable even about the spelling of Corona are trying to say big words and lectures on Corona. Unfortunate. Preparedness and acting right is our civilized responsibility. Stay home, stay safe, stay healthy, and be socially responsible. We are social beings. Our welfare is society's welfare. And if we don't give it to the society, everyone will win. In Corona, no victory without everyone winning the war. Believe me, even this will change. This will go away in a few months, but our behavior should not change. If Corona goes, some Birona will come. After that, some Derona will come. But the behavior, attitude is always important. Prayer, faith on the Almighty is the ultimate thing that we need to depend, but not the first one. The first one is action. Karmanyeva adhikaraste. You do that, and of course, pray the Lord. There is no problem. Nobody denies you to stop praying and believe in Bhagavan. All of us are under his umbrella. Without his protection, none of us are there. But action is essential as per science, as per medical guidance. Whoever is the doctor, keep faith in him or her, and then act sensibly, socially responsible way. Do not heed to unscientific, untested information. With this, I'm going to end. Thank you very much for listening. I would like to thank the organizers for this opportunity, and I'm going to sort of field any questions that you have in a very brief way. Namaste to all. This is the way you should welcome. Not by shake hand, not by hugging, and of course not by kissing. Okay?